Hello everybody, welcome back here once again to the Brawl for All Pro Wrestling Show. It's episode 38. I'm your host Jeff Jaros as always, and I'm starting off here with Cdub from Chronochord Media. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? Always a pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Jeff Crow may tune in if he can wrestle himself away from the Wyatt family tonight. We'll see what happens there. I don't know. They got him still. He said he might be able to get away to me, though, so maybe they're going to let him loose, set him free.
Yeah, they may eventually set him free. Who knows?
We had a sad loss in the industry this week. As you know, Roddy Piper passed away at the age of 61 of cardiac arrest in his sleep. Real name Roderick George Toombs, but better known by his ring name, Roddy Piper. Canadian professional wrestler, film actor, podcast host. He was known for his work at the WWF and WCW mainly. And although he was Canadian, he because of his Scottish heritage, he was billed from Glasgow. You remember that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Known for his signature kilt and bagpipe entrance music, he earned the nickname Rowdy and Hot Rod by displaying his trademark Scottish rage. He was an industry veteran, and Ric Flair held Piper as the most gifted entertainer in the history of pro wrestling. That's a pretty high honor coming from old Rick there.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's pretty fitting too. I don't think I could disagree with that.
Yes, and he was one of the most recognizable pro wrestlers worldwide, we must say. Did you know he headlined several pay-per-view events, and he participated in WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania X as a special guest referee. A lot of people don't remember that one, but go check it out.
He was in for the title match.
Yeah, he was several manias in between there too. I think, what was the one, Adonis, WrestleMania 3, when he retired there for a short time?
Yeah, WrestleMania 3. He had the Piper's Pit at WrestleMania 5.
Yeah, let's not forget the dog collar match with Greg Valentine that we've even talked about before on here.
Yeah, that was Starrcade 83. That was a hell of a match.
But what's funny is he came back and main evented Starrcade 96.
Yeah. Piper was one of those guys who went, he was on the early WrestleManias and he was on the first WrestleMania and the first Starrcade.
Right.
In a feature bout, and he ended up coming back later for feature bouts almost a decade later on those same cards. So that's pretty cool, man. Piper had a lot of really huge milestones, and like you said, he was one of those few people, kind of like Hogan or Rock or Andre the Giant or Stone Cold, who really transcended pro wrestling and went into pop culture. I mean, everybody knows who Piper is.
Right. Did you know that he won 34 championships in various promotions during his career?
Not bad. That's a pretty good history there. I will say that Piper never really needed a title.
No, as we saw in WWF, the only title he ever held was the Intercontinental, and you would have thought they would have put the strap on him at least once back then, but they never did pull the trigger on that.
He was also a tag team champion. Can't forget that with Ric Flair.
Oh, the later years with Ric Flair in the 2000s we're getting into.
Yeah, how about that? He was also a two-time WCW United States champion. Not bad.
Yeah, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005.
Absolutely.
And he was named the top villain in history by WWE.
Man, it's really hard to disagree with that. I mean, if we didn't have Roddy Piper as the antagonist going into the first WrestleMania, I don't think the WWE would be the same as it is
never
today.
would have worked the same.
No, because as you know, for every great hero or fan favorite, there has to be an antagonist there on the other side that makes people want to see the guy get their ass kicked by the hero. And Roddy Piper was the ultimate antagonist, just a complete performer in every sense of the word. The guy was just a natural, and it's going to be a huge loss there of Roddy Piper. Quick little crazy note, man. Roddy Piper debuted in the business at age 15. Wrestling up in Winnipeg against the father of WWE Hall of Famer Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and of course the grandfather of WWE superstar Curtis Axel, Larry the Axe Hennig. Piper no longer with us, and Larry Hennig is still alive and well, thankfully.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that I got his DVD, Born to Controversy, made by WWE. I think it was like 2005 or something they made it. I can't remember the actual date. And it is on the network if you want to check it out. It's a great documentary on him if you want to know more about the Rodster. And yeah, he talks about that, being 15 years old, coming in there against Larry Hennig. That was a scary deal for him, he said. He said he set the record, and like being pinned in like 5 seconds, so for that arena.
I think it was over pretty quick.
Yeah, he said.
And Roddy is one of those legendary people who was trained by Gene LaBelle, Judo Gene LaBelle.
Oh yeah, the LaBelle lock.
Yeah, LaBelle had a lot of training as far as other stars. I mean, guys like Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, pretty much a who's who of mixed martial arts and acting. Gene LaBelle, I believe he's still with us as well. I know that he's involved, or he was the person involved with making the bridge and the introduction between Roddy Piper and Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Well, that's neat. Yeah, Rousey, that was her namesake. She actually asked Roddy to use that name, in case anybody wondered. Yep. Piper acted in dozens of films and TV shows, and I remember him back in like Quantum Leap. He included a lead role in the '88 film They Live by John Carpenter.
That's probably his most well-known acting role.
He had a recurring role in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which I've never saw. But yeah, They Live. He's here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and he's all out of bubblegum. So, anything else for old Roddy there that you have before we take our much-deserved 10-second moment of silence for him?
No, Piper will be sorely missed, and hopefully the Toombs family, his wife Kitty, and his daughters and his son, hopefully they're doing well in their mourning, and rest in peace, Hot Rod.
Yeah, I'm sure it's tough for him, but I'm sure they're going to pull through it fine. Definitely one of the greatest villains, greatest wrestlers that ever laced a pair of boots. Can't forget the famous Piper's Pit. He influenced so many wrestlers. I mean, look at Dean Ambrose. He's almost a clone of Piper, the way he acts sometimes. So, I got to say rest in peace, Hot Rod. And we're going to do a 10-second pause here for you. And it's much deserved, so rest in peace, Rod. Here we go. Well, rest in peace, Hot Rod. You will be sorely missed. And we must also add he was a fellow podcaster. So.
Yes.
I actually listened to Piper's Pit like up to a few weeks ago. I listened to him and Vince Russo bury the hatchet, which was good to hear that he buried the hatchet with a lot of people before he went out. But, you know, being on bad terms with WWE sucked when he went out. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, Piper was, just like the DVD said, born to controversy. He was never one to shy away from giving his opinion. And
that's the way he went out.
Yeah, I mean, if something didn't jive with him, he would just speak his mind, and if you didn't like it, then you could take a hike.
So it's kind of fitting. He came in controversial and went out controversial.
For sure.
Definitely lived up to Roddy Piper, the name. And he is going to be sorely missed by the whole wrestling industry, everybody, maybe the world. But we won't forget Hot Rod for sure. And this episode is definitely dedicated to Roddy Piper. So rest in peace, man, and you're going to be missed. So do you want to get on to Raw now?
Let's do it.
And do Roddy proud this episode.
Hope so.
Okay. Raw, I don't know, you watched it, right?
Yeah, there was some segments that I kind of just, usually I'll always have it on for the full 3 hours, and I'll be within vision and earshot of the television, but sometimes some of these segments and matches, they start out and they just lose me, and I turn my chair around and I face the computer and listen and do other stuff.
Right, but we did say it started out really good as we had Rollins come out and, talk all that trash about John Cena and breaking his nose and everything, and to get to the point, he pretty much challenged Cena title for title at SummerSlam. And then he said he decided to do a U.S. since Cena comes out and does his U.S. Open challenges all the time, and he can't do it this week, that he was going to have a WWE title open challenge. And he said it started now, and he actually did Cena's old champ is here thing. So what'd you think about this opening? I thought it was a solid opener.
It was pretty good. I liked the opening there with Rollins doing the opening challenge there, making a match for SummerSlam.
I thought it was a good way to do it.
As well as the U.S. Open, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they kind of hot-shotted that first hour there, I thought.
Yeah, a little bit. That first segment was started out good, and then they went to break and came back, and I'll let you take the rest from there.
Yeah, it kind of went downhill as far as we said this was integral, the first 15 minutes, which they did a hell of a job, but then I think it kind of fell off. They didn't keep it going.
As soon as they came back with this bullshit stipulation, man, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, what was the bullshit stipulation?
So Seth Rollins, of course, said that he would indeed face anybody on the roster, but the stipulation was they had to be under 6 foot tall and they had to be under 200 pounds. So everybody, of course, is thinking El Torito.
Yeah.
And of course, Renee, I believe it was Renee Young. It could have been JoJo. Said as much. So you're going to face El Torito tonight? And then El Torito's music hits. and there's no El Torito. And then all of a sudden we see, of course, the man who gravity forgot, Neville. And just a quick point, scientifically, if he is the man who gravity forgot, wouldn't he technically be weightless?
Yeah, he would be weightless, and he would be, I don't know, he would cease to exist, probably.
Maybe so.
Oh, he had a hell of a match, though. He hit a red arrow, and he came with that spot where Rollins got his leg on the rope and kicked, and so it was able to break it up. But then he went for another red arrow, and he missed it this time, and Rollins kind of rolled through and hit a pedigree and got the win.
Yep. So, it was a very good match.
It was a heck of a match to start it off.
Can't complain. Two guys who had a feud in NXT as well. That was pretty good.
Yeah, and also these guys had their second match on Neville's second match on Raw. I remember he jobbed out to Rollins, and I wasn't happy about it. I remember that.
Yeah.
Second night on Raw. Going on from that, we had Kofi and Big E of the New Day, along with Xavier, and the Descension, taking on the Los Matadores and the Lucha Dragons with the PTPers on commentary. Kofi got the pin after Sin Cara was hit with the Trouble in Paradise.
No surprise there.
No. Bad match.
WWE's, it wasn't so great. I mean, anytime
just a boring
you've got that
match.
Many people, anytime you've got that many people in the ring, man, it's gonna cause some issues. And of course, they're gonna have to use all these teams going into SummerSlam with the 4 hours. I would almost guarantee we're gonna see an elimination style match.
How long you giving?
Because of that amount of time.
How long you giving the Ascension?
They're already the Ascension in my book.
Right, they're about
pretty
done.
much. They're just warm bodies holding a spot, man.
I mean, I can't even believe they still have it.
Those guys aren't that great, man.
No, they could be better if they didn't have that Road Warrior gimmick and tried something else with them.
If they don't get it together by WrestleMania time, they're going to be probably part of that yearly
Future Endeavor list.
Yeah, the Future Endeavors list, indeed.
Going on from that, we had Team Bella, Nikki and Brie with Alicia Fox versus the newly stated Submission Sorority, Charlotte and Becky Lynch along with Paige. Can you believe that nickname, the Submission Sorority? But I got a little note on this. Did you know that it may be changed soon, that name?
I heard some rumblings about this. That name sounds a little bit kinky to me, Jim.
Yeah, it's the name of an adult content website, actually, which WWE did not do proper research, and they found out about it real quick, though. So the names they're considering are also the Horsewomen and the Submission Sisters, maybe, to change it.
I could see Submission Sisters.
But they don't want to do Horsewomen because it may step on Ronda's toes.
And besides, man, come on, for the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah, like what?
It's
horse
stupid.
face.
Sorry, I'm sorry. That name's stupid. It was cool whenever it was the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
But don't try to change it.
Yeah, come on. Let's do something else.
What's Rick think about it?
I mean, it was pretty bad whenever they put another name on it and called it Evolution.
Let's go here, man. What's Rick think about it?
I would venture to guess that as long as Rick has plenty of kamikazes and shots,
Is he always drunk?
Does the sun shine?
Woo, Rick.
He loves watching that daughter out there, though. Woo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, you better watch it. He'll start crying if you
if he heard this, he'd probably start crying. I love old Rick, though. Gotta love Rick.
Yeah, he's like a sentimental old drunk uncle that you see once a year at the family reunion who gets all hammered and starts hugging on you.
Still one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, man. Well, going on from that, rolling right along here. Actually, the notes weren't too long this week. You had old Miz TV, and did you see Plug Piper on there? I thought that was cool.
Oh, yeah, that was nice. I mean, I really don't know how. I mean, I do know that Roddy and Miz worked together before.
Right, they did.
On TV, but I don't know how much of Roddy's brain Miz got to pick. Hopefully he was intelligent enough to soak in as much as he could from his time with Piper. But comparing Miz TV to Piper's Pit, to paraphrase the great Bobby Heenan, is like comparing ice cream to horse manure.
Right. Second best, my ass.
Miz TV is garbage.
Yeah.
That's just all there is to it.
Well, to get to the point, he introduced Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens says he was a fan of Miz and all of his movies on Blu-ray. I thought was funny.
I'm hoping that was a sarcastic statement.
Yeah, I think it was. Did you see he got cut off by Cesaro after he said he was jealous? Cesaro was jealous of him.
Yes.
Cesaro just came down and spit a bunch of garbage about, he's not jealous and he succeeded. Oh, yeah. Well, then Owens claimed that, he succeeded where Cesaro failed, and that's why he's jealous. You know, and no matter how hard he works, he'll never be as good as him. Cesaro says he's not jealous, he's ashamed because he says he's disrespectful and says he's an embarrassment, Owens. I thought that was like, woo. Owens gets, Owens got up and got that chair stuck to him, and did you see Cesaro acknowledged it?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
jeez.
pretty funny.
That was hilarious. Oh, man.
Your chair stuck to your fat ass there, Tom.
And after that, he said he accomplished more in 3 years than Cesaro has in his entire career. Did things get real here or what?
I think they were definitely trying to bait the smart marks out there, guys like us who kind of thrive on the behind-the-scenes stuff, all the news and rumors and rumblings. But these two guys, man, they're going to have one hell of a match at SummerSlam, I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm. It was funny, Cesaro, claimed they're in a ring, so let's go right now. Miz tried to interfere, and Owens says, let the guys who fight handle this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh! The whole crowd was like, oh! I think
I think Miz's value on the card is about equal to El Torito's right now.
Mm-hmm. El Torito and Miz are on the same level. That's funny.
As a matter of fact, El Torito might be above it with that shout-out from Seth Rollins this week.
Oh, geez. Cesaro got mad because Owens started walking out, and he said, walk, Owens, walk, like you do best. Then Owens attacked Cesaro, and Cesaro fights and gets him in the little swing maneuver, but Owens struggled free and retreated, and they stared each other down from the ramp in the ring. So it was a good little spot getting the match going, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for that to be really the match of the night, the show stealer at
SummerSlam. we've already said that's gonna steal the show right there. By the way, the updated SummerSlam card while we're on it: Cena Rollins title for title. This is after SmackDown. Triple threat show: Miz and Ryback returning.
All right. The last picture I saw of Ryback's knee didn't look so good, but
he says
he's healthy in time.
Lesnar Taker. Well, I guess it was announced, man. I read on WrestleZone on SmackDown.
Right on.
And then Wyatt, Harper, Reigns, Ambrose.
Very nice.
No Sting.
No Stinger. Maybe we might see Sting make an appearance.
I think he's going to make it,
but not wrestle.
I think he's going to make an appearance.
Yeah,
definitely.
That may be the big surprise SummerSlam thing is Sting coming back.
Right. Did you see they showed that clip from UFC 190 of Rousey dedicating her fight to Piper? I thought that was kind of different that they had UFC on there.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, but it was surprising after the comments we heard from Dana White earlier this week.
Right, wrestling's fake.
Yeah,
that was a big deal. A lot of guys had a problem with that.
Yeah, I do too, man.
It's not fake, man.
There's nothing fake about it.
Predetermined, yes.
Predetermined? Are they cooperating with each other? Yeah. 95, 99% of the time, absolutely.
Are they trying not to kill each other? Yes, but that doesn't mean it's fake.
It don't mean it don't hurt.
The bumps they take are real. The punishment their body takes is real, so I don't want to hear that from Dana.
No, and I think that's another video we could sit and talk about that whole subject, being lifelong wrestling fans.
Yeah, I don't like that. I've always defended it to the end, man, on when somebody says it's fake.
Yeah,
I'd like to see you get in there and do it.
It's just as fake as every fucking movie in Hollywood, and nobody shits on them for being fake.
Yeah, but even we couldn't get in there and act as good as those people in Hollywood, so...
Nope, so fuck you, Dana White, if you're listening.
Yes. Did you see Rusev with Summer Rae versus Mark Henry?
I did. This was a
quick one.
Behemoths.
It was a quick one, though. Rusev got that kick to the head and got the win.
Yeah, that's it's cool to see Mark Henry still on my television. I like Mark Henry, but
man, he's not going nowhere.
I'd like to see him get a big run before he retires instead of being like a kind of a major jobber to these young up and comers.
Yeah, I don't see it happening though. I really don't. But I think he's there to put over the young guys.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Mark Henry's had a hell of a career.
Right. That's pretty much his role right now, I think. And he's too injury prone. Every time they throw him into a good angle, he gets injured. So that cuts back. Did you see the old eerie Wyatt promo on the Titantron after that?
I did. That was
on Roman Reigns being the fan symbol of hope, but he's no different than anyone else.
Yes, Wyatt is a master.
Harper said that they warned Reigns, but he didn't listen. And then Sheamus stepped in, looking like he was part of the Wyatt family, and said Orton will pay. Wyatt. I thought that was so stupid having Wyatt come in on that. It made the aura of where they're at like a lot more different. Like, so Sheamus knows where they are.
Yeah, Sheamus just walked into this broom closet and found them, or what?
Yeah, and so Wyatt says that if they have a common enemy in Orton, that they're friends, and the night they're going to be friends. They're considered friends.
Well, there you go. I think that pretty much locks up that alliance there. Sheamus and Wyatt.
What do you think? You think?
I mean, going into SummerSlam, perhaps those guys could be, like they said, common enemies. One another have there.
They were wanting that third member, so maybe they could get Sting in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if we'll actually see Sting get in there, but I think there might be somebody go in there and
Orton
become the third Wyatt going forward.
Right, but I just think that since they had that rumor about the Sting match wanting him to get in on it, maybe they could still do it by putting Sheamus in the mix.
It very well could, yeah. I mean, we could see that happen for sure, but I don't know. We may end up seeing that happen at perhaps Survivor Series.
Right.
If we don't see Taker versus Sting or Taker and Sting or those two, could be something we could see.
Right on. Then we had King Barrett, Zack Ryder, which was pretty much a filler match. Barrett hit the Royal Bullhammer for the pin. How many times do we have to watch Zack Ryder get destroyed on TV before they get rid of him? Or is that just his role? Is he the new Harry Borowitz? Or
Barry Horowitz, yes. You know, Ryder, I know a lot of people who will defend him till the death, but the guy just hasn't been entertaining to me really ever.
No. Woo, 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 you know it.
I mean, he did a great job at getting himself over, but that's it. That's all he's done.
I think they're trying to do something with this King Barrett gimmick too, but it's way too late.
Yeah, I think that ship sailed, man. This King Barrett thing is
they dropped the ball on that.
Yeah,
he could have made a great heel as that King.
Yeah, Wade Barrett's a guy they've kind of dropped the ball on in the last year or two, ever since the whole Nexus thing.
Man, the Bad News Barrett gimmick being dropped was just a bunch of bull crap. I mean, they just didn't want him getting over, in my opinion. Somebody didn't, because he was getting over, man.
He was, but I mean, at the same point, it's kind of, on the same token as Zack Ryder, where is the ceiling with the Bad News Barrett gimmick? I mean, do we really see Bad News Barrett as WWE champion? Myself personally, no.
Nah. Heyman came out and cut that awesome-ass promo, which I don't think I have to sit here and go through every word that he said. It's so hard to read off his promos,
it's
man.
Next to impossible to do.
But basically, he talked about how Taker went back and talked to Vince and begged for a rematch in this, which I thought was funny. And Vince turned him down because Vince knows what will happen if they fight again. So he said Taker had to pick a fight instead at Battleground, leaving WWE no option but to sanction the match. So now at SummerSlam 2015, it's the match too big for Mania. Not just a rematch, because he'll stamp again the motto, eat, sleep, conquer, repeat, and says Taker will go to Suplex City. And said the last time he needed doctors and time to recover, but this time he'll need last rites. Because he's going to Suplex City at the hands of Brock Lesnar. JR called this the best promo that Heyman's ever cut, so go back and listen to it, man. I thought it was polarizing myself. But did you even notice that Brock Lesnar was standing there the whole time? Yeah, he actually introduced this guy and brought him out there. They showed those two vignettes too, which I have to those montages, which were pretty cool. But did you see he called him a vindictive little bitch when it comes to Brock? I tell everybody every week I think they get one bitch a show to get in.
Perhaps so.
Yeah, but JR calling that the best promo ever cut. What do you think? Yeah, Lesnar, non-existent though out there. What a waste of an appearance. He did nothing but stand there, didn't say a word. Came out, they talked him up. He stood up there on the stairs. Oh yeah, Brock did come out and throw those stairs up when he came out into the ring and then stood up on there.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, it's good to have him there. He's always a draw, but like you said, Heyman did all the legwork there, so.
Whoever tuned in to see Brock was disappointed.
Oh, well, you saw him. I mean,
yeah, you saw him.
See him.
If you were planning on any action, when it comes to Brock, if you're planning on action, don't plan on it.
Yep.
Don't plan on it. Every now and then he gets mixed up, but usually it's just him coming out there and standing there, and I don't like it. I think they, need to use him when they use him.
Well, that's the problem with their deal with Lesnar. They have a set amount of dates that he can work and a set amount of appearances.
I guess a set amount of stuff that he can do.
Yep.
Did you see they did book him, though, for the Madison Square Garden event coming up? Because he has in his contract that he has to have more appearances and live event appearances, too.
There you go. I'm sure that'll fulfill the terms of that contract.
So he's working the house show, the Madison Square Garden one. That was on my notes. I thought I might as well just say that now.
Right on. Yeah, good. It's always been the mecca, man. With that company, WWE, that's the number one spot, the Garden. So
yeah, it was all part of his new deal that increases the matches he has to work and his live event appearances. So He's going to be there.
Very smart.
So get down to Madison Square Garden, check Brock out. I'm sure I'll have a great match there with somebody.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's going to get destroyed.
Okay, Paige came out with the submission sorority. Charlotte and Becky took on Naomi, Team Bad, with Alicia Fox and Sasha. You know what? I didn't even write down a finish for this match, but I think didn't Charlotte get the win?
I believe
or
so,
no,
yes.
not Paige, but Paige got the win?
Yeah, it would have been Paige, in this one that got the win, I think.
She had, the interview with Stone Cold right after that. Yeah, I didn't write down a result for this one, so sorry there, everybody. I think it was a submission, though, because, she used the PTO because they were all talking up the submission sorority after that. Like, we seen, Charlotte use her figure 8, right?
Yep, and Paige with the PTO, and then the disarmor.
Becky did the
Lynch.
disarmor, so she got it. She got the win there, so I do remember the finish, even though I didn't write it down. So sorry. Whoops. Stardust exclusive interview from Facebook. Did you see that? Talking with his wife.
Yeah, with Eden.
Talking about Neville. Whole superhero type deal.
Yeah, I fully expect us to see that Arrow gimmick kind of come to fruition. We're going to see him on Raw next week.
Right, directly
after.
Yeah, directly after that, Stephen Amell announced to appear on Raw next week to confront Stardust.
There we go.
I like that figure-to-figure picture I put up on the page, by the way.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I like that a lot. That's cool. Did you see after that they showed the Roddy Piper tribute, which was very touching and cool?
Yeah, it was the same video that they showed during the intro with the 10-bell salute.
Right.
But they just, of course, showed it again one more time anybody who missed it.
I actually missed the 10-bell salute to Roddy, and we didn't even state that they did have the 10-bell salute.
Yeah, right off the bat, we saw everybody out there, including Vince McMahon and Triple H, and I understood that once the video started playing and everybody else filed backstage, apparently Triple H and Vince stood out there on the stage and watched the video. So,
well, that's really cool.
It's a cool little
I'm sure they kind of feel
tribute.
bad with the way things ended.
Well, I do understand a lot of people were speculating that Roddy got released from his Legends deal.
He did.
Nope, no sir.
He wasn't.
Per Dave Meltzer, he was never released from his deal. He was quietly kind of phased out and swept under the rug. He did lose his podcast One thing.
So our report was false.
Per Dave Meltzer, I'm going to give Meltzer the trump card over just about any other news site.
Right.
Per Dave Meltzer, no. Piper did not lose his Legends deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was still under contract, but whether they would have actually used him because of the Stone Cold thing, not really sure.
Yep. So rest in peace, Piper. Nice tribute from WWE to him, I thought. I thought it was cool at the beginning when they showed that chair, with his kilt on it.
Yes.
That was pretty cool, a little touch to it. Did you see the backstage interview here before the main event with Ambrose and Reigns? Ambrose recited the old bubblegum line from They Live, which was cool.
Yeah.
Reigns,
nice little tribute.
Yeah, Reigns actually said him and Crazy are going to be busting some heads all night tonight. And then you had Orton walk up and said, do whatever, but leave Sheamus to him. Ambrose says, finally, he's nice. Or he said something. I can't remember. What did he say? Something like that. Like Ambrose says, he said, finally, he's nice or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he said, finally, I like this guy.
Yeah, it was funny, whatever. Reigns says, let's get rowdy, and they headed out.
There you go. Nice little tribute there from the big stars today in WWE. That just goes to show you some of Roddy's influence and how far it went.
Yeah, he really influenced a lot of people in the business, and he definitely influenced Ambrose.
Without question.
Okay, so we had Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Sheamus versus Randy Orton, Ambrose, and Reigns in the main event. Did you like this?
I liked the booking. Like we touched on earlier, I wasn't really sure
Something
about
different,
Sheamus
though,
being...
because they haven't had Harper and Wyatt in a main event for a long time, so I thought that was something different. And Sheamus being chewed in there, yeah. Is that what you were going to say?
I was going to say,
sorry,
I wasn't really keen on Sheamus just kind of being tossed in there with the, the enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever. So, it was all right. It's good to see all these guys get in there and get some main event spotlight.
Yep, Sheamus went for the bro kick on Orton, and Reigns came and hit that spear on him for the win. It was pretty sick finish there. They all pretty much got good.
I like that little sequence.
They had great sequence there at the end of the match. I was going to say that was really good. And then you had Orton, Reigns, and Ambrose stand tall in the ring to send it off air. I thought it was a good tribute to Piper the way they did it.
Definitely. I'm starting to kind of feel like there might be an implosion with the Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton.
Why do you think that? Because they've done that with so many times with Orton.
I don't think it's going to be with Orton. I think either Reigns or Ambrose is going to have to.
They have to do a Reigns heel turn, in my opinion.
I think it's time, man. I mean,
he's not working as a major face, in my opinion.
No, I mean, he's completely peaked.
Yeah, it's like, what is this guy going to do?
Yep.
And this Wyatt feud hasn't helped him.
I'm afraid
it just made him look
no.
like he's almost second fiddle to Ambrose. Ambrose is actually a better worker all around than Reigns and better on the stick, and I could see him being a world champion before Reigns.
You know, whenever this whole Shield thing started, I was always, Roman Reigns, that guy's going to be the champ first, but I was wrong, and it looks like that my guessing order was completely backwards.
Yeah, because you feel the same way?
Roman Reigns last.
Yeah, do you feel the same way about Ambrose, though? Like, really getting over?
I think realistically, if you were going to tell me that one of those guys had to be booked as champion by January, I'm picking Ambrose.
And they did that false finish, too, when the crowd just popped.
Yeah.
They should have pulled the trigger on Ambrose then, in my opinion, but I think the plan was to have Rollins with this lengthy title feud to come back with Brock. But it did make entertaining TV while Brock was gone.
Yeah, and I think we may see perhaps at SummerSlam or Survivor Series a big turn coming with the former Shield guys.
Well, if they're throwing Ambrose in there every second they get, to make up for when somebody is injured or Brock's out, that he's going to deserve. He's getting his shot in the end here.
Oh yeah,
he's going to get his title run.
Yep.
I'm sure they've already told him that. Like, you do this for us, and you'll get it here in the future.
Probably
kind of like they did with Jericho almost.
Yeah.
He told Jericho that, one day you will be champ. But tonight, you're going to send that back and say it was a, false finish.
Right.
He's talked about that several times. Did you see a couple notes, too, that fan Elijah Mainville, 7 years old, they had him sign a WWE contract along with Stardust. I thought that was kind of cool. What a thrill for a kid like that. Now, I don't know much. What's his deal?
I believe he's had to battle cancer multiple times. I think they said 4 times he's had cancer diagnosis, and he's kicked its ass every single time. So,
well,
man,
all I can say is, Elijah Mainville, if you're listening out there, you're a superstar in our eyes, man. We're glad you signed the contract. Hope they use you.
Without question.
So, congratulations to him, man. That's really cool. 25th anniversary of Taker's debut coming up at Survivor Series. They're thinking he may appear in some way, buddy. Going straight into the notes here.
It's pretty much a foregone conclusion in my mind. I mean, they have to. It's
25 years, yeah.
It's going to be a big match for Undertaker without question. It's going to be the biggest match that we're going to see Undertaker probably compete in for the rest of this year, other than this Lesnar match.
Yeah.
It could be the only other match we see Undertaker compete in this year, but no doubt in my mind we're going to see the 25-year anniversary of Taker debuting at Survivor Series 1990. Of course, he was the mystery partner of Ted DiBiase on the $1 Million Team.
Loved it.
And basically ever since then, he's made a huge impact.
And I loved him from the get-go. I remember watching that Survivor Series.
Yeah, and of course, 1 year later, Taker got his first WWF Championship by defeating Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series 91.
The infamous Hulk Hogan now. Can we put it that way?
Right.
Are we supposed to mention him on the show?
Yeah, I think we can say that Undertaker buried the racist bassist, Hulk Hogan. He is a bass player.
Yes, he was.
I've been waiting for a time to use that line, so I had to squeeze it in there. But
okay.
But yeah.
Wow. Can you believe I'm 33 years old? You're 29.
Yeah.
And 25 years of that, Taker has been in the WWE or WWF. It's just unreal. What a run. What a run. That's why I think the way he's wrestling now, it's just time to hang it up, man. There comes a time for everybody. We loved you while you were around, and we'll always remember you, Taker, but don't draw it out too long, man. I hate it when that happens.
I hope that doesn't happen, but I don't think it's happened yet. He is getting a little bit older, and he's obviously not as mobile as he used to be.
He hasn't been on there for 2 weeks?
Yeah, and that's kind of part of the mystique of The Undertaker. You have to tune in to pay-per-view or to a big show to see him, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's smart booking, and I think as long as they're selective with Undertaker and their matchups, I think we could see Taker for a couple more years to come, making these special appearances once, twice, maybe 3 times a year.
Yes, exactly. Did you see U-Haul Nation's new name? Can you announce it for everybody?
Let's see, what was it? Apollo Crews, I believe, Crews. That could be maybe a cross between Apollo Creed and Terry Crews, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, we were laughing about that last night, but I think it's a good name, Apollo Crews, U-Haul Nation. I mean, it's not bad for some of the names they give these guys.
I mean,
I expect a hell of a run from this guy. I've seen some highlights of this guy, and he's a hell of an athlete, man. Watch out for this guy.
No doubt.
Could be a future NXT champion real quick.
Yeah, and I think the name Yuha, I could already see people calling him U-Haul. It's good that Bobby Heenan's no longer on commentary because he would be calling him U-Haul with that name.
Right. I like Apollo Crews.
It's good. It'll do. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, if he's going to be a Apollo Creed level star or if he's going to get knocked out and destroyed like Apollo was.
I would say he's going to be on the star list there. But
But
yeah, and it's funny, he kind of took Xavier Woods' little heat there from the old TNA, the TNA
Consequences
gimmick. Yeah, Consequences Creed. I wonder if they're going to have him come out in those Stars and Stripes tights or whatever. I can't wait to see him on there.
Yeah, it should be good, man.
Other NXT,
very impressive physique, and I think he's going to have some pretty good matchups.
Yes, he will. Other NXT news that I had: Bayley and Charlotte had a hell of a match. This episode of NXT this week, if you haven't seen it, that's my recommendation. Watch it. I have no match. Watch NXT.
There you go.
I thought it was great. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a good episode. I watched it earlier today. Bayley and Charlotte was a pretty good match.
Moved along a lot of storylines.
Yep.
We're getting that Brooklyn special. We're going to get a ladder match between Owens and Balor for the title. That's going to be epic. The tag title match is in effect. Vaudevillains and the great Murphy and Blake. The unbelievable Blake and Murphy.
Yeah, Team Bamf, I believe they're called.
Oh, Jesus. I'm joking, by the way, but they're going to have them.
We got
Jushin Thunder Liger. Yeah, he had his promo on there, too, this week, which was really cool. It's got me wondering, how long is he going to stick around?
I don't know. Maybe we could possibly see Liger go into the WWE Hall of Fame at some point.
I could see
he's deserving as far as his place in wrestling history. He hasn't ever had a WWE appearance, but if you throw him in here with NXT, you got your footage of Liger wrestling in NXT that you can use along with the old WCW stuff. So hey, why not? Liger is a marketable character. He's been in the business for over 30 years. Why not bring him on board, man, as far as Liger's marketability in America?
Yeah, I've always wanted to see him with a WWE run of some sort.
That would be awesome.
So this is pretty much it, I think.
I think this is going to be it. I'm hoping it's not a one-off.
I think it's going to be a little feud between him and Breeze. That'd be nice.
That would be super cool.
They got to have him, because the fans are pissed down there in Florida that they're going to take this on the road to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They're going to probably come back with the next live special and have them fight again in front of the crowd down there in Orlando, in my opinion.
That would be cool. It could get pretty expensive flying Liger over every month. But,
unless he's staying here for the time being. He could be staying with Hideo Itami.
It's possible.
I would say they would make great roommates. Hideo's been here, and Liger's been here before, so...
Oh, yeah. Liger really spent quite a bit of time in the U.S. for WCW.
Can't forget his classics with the late Brian Pillman.
Oh, yeah.
Loved him. One of the first wrestlers I ever saw from Japan that pulled off moves I had never saw before and just was awesome. When I seen his look in a magazine one time, I remember just thinking, I have to see this guy.
Yeah. Liger was always a favorite of mine, so it's going to be cool to see him put a nice ending on this big run that he's had, if this will be an ending, 30 years plus by coming to WWE.
Okay, so let's start running through here quick, man. We got the Austin Page podcast. It was so-so. If you've listened to her on Talk is Jericho or anything, I think you've heard pretty much everything that she said.
Yeah.
Any comment on that?
It was all right. Paige is pretty well spoken. She's certainly entertaining to listen to. Austin's always good, but I felt like this one suffered compared to the other ones. There was less hard-hitting questions and stuff that almost was shocking to hear Austin ask the guests that he's had previously. So I'm hoping that we get more of that, more of Austin interviewing people who have a greater position, perhaps, backstage, and get a little bit more of that behind-the-scenes info and that kind of stuff. That's really what I look forward to those podcasts for.
I enjoyed the first three more than this, so...
Yeah.
WWE officials wanting ZZ gone. That's the reason they posted that Billy Gunn video getting on his ass.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
That's our boy too, man. We said we're repping him here and we still are here on the Brawl for All. We're voting for you.
I like the guy. I mean, his physique is clearly in need of some work, but why not throw him in there? Give him a shot. He's got personality. I mean,
yeah, he's got
turns heads.
More of a character than anybody on the show. But they want to get rid of him because...
I think WWE just wants that Randy Orton clone still, and I think a lot of the people backstage, Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon namely, are in that mindset that some big fat guy is not going to sell tickets whenever that's not the case. It's going to be the character and what they do in the ring, no matter what they look like.
Maybe old Bull Dempsey can whip him into shape.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that'd be great. Did you see Rey Mysterio said in a Sports Illustrated Extra Mustard interview that he'd like a WWE return possibly?
Ooh, I'm not sure that he'll get that. Mysterio is, obviously probably the most popular luchador in American wrestling history. I can't think of anybody else more popular than he.
You don't see one last run?
I really don't see it happening. I mean, it could, but Mysterio spent the better half of his last contract there toward the end on the shelf, on the injured reserve. So, I think Mysterio is doing okay for himself on the indies and in Mexico, and I feel like Mexico would be a better ending for his career than the WWE, but he could be a guy who could come back to WWE and work at the developmental or NXT or something like that,
Right.
Never know.
Titus O'Neil took that group of homeless people to lunch. You see that?
I did. That was awesome. Yeah. Props to Titus.
Right on. John Cena underwent that emergency surgery on his nose, but he's supposed to return at the earliest at SummerSlam. So you think he's going to make this match with Rollins? I'm pretty sure he will. Probably in a protective mask.
I would say there's no question whatsoever he's going to make it. He'll be wearing a mask. No big deal.
I guess they've been telling him to slow down, but they got pictures of him pumping iron and shit hard anyway.
I'm sure he is, man. With a physique like that, you take a day off and you're going to notice it.
Mr. No Days Off.
That's really is John Cena. John Cena is going to be there with his A-game as best as he can at SummerSlam, no doubt in my mind.
See, WWE's upset with Meek Mill, the greatest rapper alive, for sampling Undertaker's music in that track that he dissed Drake on. I guess it was a horrible track.
I did see that, and I heard it. You definitely can't just go sampling whatever artist you want.
Nope.
Without repercussions. There's a good reason for copyright law, and Meek Mill is kind of stupid for using it like that.
Right.
I've heard other rappers use WWE music, like Wale did a freestyle over the Razor Ramon theme song, but I'm willing to bet that he was probably smart enough to get that sample cleared first, whereas Meek Mill did not. So WWE said that they're possibly going to pursue some legal action there, and they have every right to, and good for them.
AAA star Angelico signed a multi-year deal with Lucha Underground. She impressed WWE scouts big time at that PWG event, I wanted to say, and they are looking for a Latin diva.
I have never heard of her or seen her work, but I'll go and check her out and have to give a little report on her.
Yeah, I've never seen her either, Angelico. WWE producing a possible NXT reality show. So there's some more NXT news.
It's about damn time.
Cesaro to take Cena's spot in the Australian tour, and HBK taking old Hogan's spot as the GM.
I like it. That's going to be good to get Sean out of the house there on a little trip down under. Get him out of the woods from hunting and fishing and all the other outdoor stuff that he does. So always great to have Heartbreak there, and for all the fans down under, that's a nice little treat.
Yeah, it's always good to see HBK back in the fold.
Yep.
James Storm parting ways with TNA. I think they're about done.
Yeah, sorry about your damn luck.
Yeah, I mean, I see Storm coming to NXT.
I could see it happening, man.
But isn't he
a little bit up there in years?
Is he to GFW yet?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so that might be where he ends.
I would venture to guess
TNA needs to get together with GFW so bad.
I have a feeling they already have.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of letting it play out on TV.
Right. RVD may be returning soon, he said.
I heard something about that. A possible RVD farewell tour.
Retirement tour, yeah. So
hey, I'm all for it, man. Put RVD in there, let him get one last Mania match and put somebody over. Why not?
He'd be badass on NXT, too.
Hey, I got a match for you. RVD versus Neville at WrestleMania.
That'd be epic.
Put those two high flyers in there. Let RVD put over Neville as the next whole effing show, the human highlight reel. And
right.
There you go, man.
Him and Rollins would have a good one.
Oh, yeah.
a lot of guys he could have a good one with on the roster. Actually, Finn Balor, Tommy. Man, he could have some really good matches. It's about his time to get in there because he's fitting the mold that they're liking right now.
Yeah, RVD has always been one of my favorites, and I'm not sure. I don't think he can pass the wellness policy, perhaps, smoking one too many doobies. But,
I don't think he cares.
I don't think WWE really cares. I think they know that kind of comes with the territory.
I think they kind of decriminalized the weed on the policy. WWE
I would
did.
certainly hope so.
It's not a performance-enhancing drug, so
No.
I could not do it and go out there and wrestle a match. I don't know about you.
I would say you would probably be blown up much quicker if you were a regular marijuana smoker.
If you don't get paranoid first.
Right. Or perhaps have to do a George the Animal Steel trip to the turnbuckle and start eating for some munchies.
Yeah, I mean, you might grab a fan's nachos from ringside. You never know.
Maybe that's what was wrong with George Steele all those years. He was smoking the wacky tobacco.
Severe munchies.
Yeah, I guess so.
A real taste for styrofoam. Okay, WWE looking to book an event on a beach. Could we see the return of Bash at the Beach?
I certainly hope so. With all the features that WWE has in Florida, I could think of a perfect place, and that would be somewhere like Clearwater Beach there, where I'm from in Florida. Perhaps Treasure Island,
Panama
just
City.
a little bit south of Clearwater, or maybe Panama City.
Where they had the last Nitro.
Anywhere there near the Performance Center, there's so many WWE's contracted workers that are there in Florida already. It makes great sense to me. Bring back Bash at the Beach and literally have a Bash at the Beach.
That'd be so sweet, man. Daniel Bryan booked on the New York Times bestseller list. Pretty impressive.
Congratulations to Daniel Bryan. I've also heard that he may be, perhaps WWE has got Daniel Bryan a bit frustrated right now with the fact that they're not clearing him.
Wow.
I think it could be a good thing, though, really. At the end of the day, it's going to save WWE's ass, and hopefully Daniel Bryan has a little bit more time to recover from these concussion issues. And finally, when he does come back, he can come back for good.
Well, Dr. Steve, have you ever noticed that all the books from WWE go on the New York Times bestseller list?
It's funny to mention that. I am a doctor, Dr. Steve Brule.
Yeah, I just wanted to
It's funny to mention that. I can think of a few that didn't. The Kane book that they wrote a couple years ago.
Yeah, but that wasn't a biography. That was like a made-up story. It was a made-up story.
It was, but they presented it as a biography. And
I read like half of that, and I couldn't read anymore.
It's mind-numbingly terrible.
I didn't like it, dude. I tried to read it, couldn't do it. Loved Death of WCW.
Yeah, there was some factual inaccuracies in that book to some point, but
I read it twice.
It's definitely a good book.
Oh, it's definitely a good read. I read that one twice. I've read the Mick Foley book, read the Austin book, Stone Cold Truth. Yeah. Those are all good reads. Did Austin top it with his?
What's that?
The New York Times.
I'm not sure.
Or is Foley the only one to top it?
I want to say Foley. I think The Rock's actually made it up there. I think those early books that they released, The Rock, Mick Foley, China, Kurt Angle, I think some of those made it. I don't believe the Edge book made it or any of those later ones, but yeah, I know for a fact that Foley made it on there, I believe twice.
Yeah, where's Daniel Bryan at on the list?
I seem to have heard that he was number 1.
Oh, shoot. Wow, that's really good then.
That may not be correct, but I seem to recall reading that he was number 1 on there. So, way to go, Daniel Bryan.
We have to congratulate 2 divas this week, man. 2 divas. One from TNA, one from WWE, knocked up, pregnant. Uh-huh. We have Angelina Love, revealing that the knockout is knocked up. And we have Rosa Mendez, also revealing. And we do not think it's Adam Rose's baby. Let's hope not. He's married with kids.
Yeah.
But it looks like Rosa Mendez also announcing that she's pregnant. That's what I'm hearing.
Congratulations, ladies.
Congratulations to both. No hard feelings on the comments I made.
No. Love is in the air. Hopefully, may your first child be a masculine child.
Right. Adam really brought love in the air with her, you know.
Yeah,
got her riled up. Tammy Sitch, Sonny, failed to appear in DUI court. And did you know she's facing her 3rd DUI charge?
That does not surprise me. Really, it surprises me that she doesn't have more.
Yeah. WWE...
Not to kick somebody while they're down, but...
Yeah.
Oof.
And WWE's kind of upset with her making those comments about those divas, so...
Yeah, WWE has the right to be upset. They've sent her to rehab, I want to say almost 10 times, and she comes out every time and screws up again. So
never really heard much good about her.
I really hope Tammy gets her life sorted out. She's seems to be a good person, but she's got some issues.
Bad decision making.
I hope that she gets it sorted out before it's too late for her.
Same here. Did you see that the stock rised on WWE? So that's good because we reported that it fell.
Yeah, it did actually recover from the Hogan incident.
Right. ROH possibly going to introduce a women's division.
That's a fantastic idea. They've already got Maria over there.
Yes.
She can work. She's not the best in the world, but
right.
She is a former WWE diva. And
plenty on the indie circuit.
Yeah, you got ODB over there, One Dirty Briscoe, of course.
Is that what she's called?
Yeah, she's been aligning herself with the Briscoes.
Well, I have to watch TV. I have to watch an episode. I have to find one with her on there. I haven't seen that. I haven't watched ROH for so long.
You know, I really don't watch it week to week, but I always try to keep up with what the Briscoes are.
One Dirty Briscoe. Superfly Snuka diagnosed with stomach cancer. On a sad note, underwent surgery. So
yeah, I hate to hear that.
Father of Tamina
and his family. I really hate to hear that, but in the spirit of not kicking somebody while they're down, I'll just say that Jimmy Snuka has some things in his past that he...
Shady.
Some shady stuff.
Right.
That's all I got to say about
I'm not going to bring it up right now, but I hear what you're saying. But nobody wants to see anybody die, I guess.
Clearly not.
Underwent surgery, though, so hopefully he gets better. Tamina's dad, by the way.
Yep.
But I have heard some pretty disturbing things about his past. Let's just put it that way. Hard to feel real sorry for him if it's true, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So get well, Superfly. Dana Brooke makes first ever main roster appearance in Hidalgo, Texas at the live event. She worked a match against Natalya and Emma, which is kind of interesting. She worked on Cameron's side against Natalya and Emma, and that's her alliance in NXT is her and Emma. So thought that was interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, they paid tribute to Roddy Piper that night too.
Yes, 10-bell salute.
So do you see Dana making it up to the main roster anytime soon?
Eventually, I mean, she's certainly good looking enough.
Working the live event loop.
Yeah, usually if you go on the live event loop, there's a good reason for it. So
yeah,
that could be them testing the waters.
And
with
you
it.
heard Bella's a couple weeks ago, and I even said it. She said that she was the total diva.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what Dana Brooke calls herself.
Ah, how about that?
Yeah, so I thought that was a little shot they could use later on. You called yourself the total diva? I am the total diva. WWE creative writer addressed an idea that Bruce Pritchard had a gay character in mind for Brock Lesnar for his debut on TV. Did you hear about that? JR, though,
I heard about that.
JR refuted it and said it wasn't true, though, so I just wanted to get that out there for everybody who's heard it.
I think I'll go with Jim Ross's account of the situation.
Me too. It is quite hilarious, though, if you read about it.
Yeah, it's almost like a throwback to Omar from The Wire, the badass gangster, murderer, vicious guy who also happens to be gay.
Wow. Since Network launched, the WWE Network, did you know there's been 2 million paid subscribers? But only,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, but only 61% are still active.
I'm one of those 61%. I am still active.
We are too. But there's a lot of people who are not active, obviously, still. But do you call that good or bad? I don't know.
I call it a majorly above anything. WWE doesn't upload stuff to that system enough. They need to have weekly uploads. They need to be able to announce, 4 weeks in advance, we're uploading this on this day, this on this day, so that it can create some anticipation.
So they've lost 39% of their subscribers since the beginning. That's a big chunk.
It's a pretty big chunk. I think WWE is working toward building up the network more of a success.
Well, what's going to happen is you're not going to see anything on pay-per-view. It's all going to be on the network.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to just part ways with they're slowly parting ways with them right now, but it's pissing a lot of cable companies off. But It's going to happen.
And I think as long as there is people still buying the traditional pay-per-view, they're still going to run them. So
yeah, because it costs them so much cheaper to just air it on the network and not have to air it on pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, I mean, what it basically amounts to is that they don't have to give the pay-per-view carriers a cut. They're cannibalizing the pay-per-view option, but they're also taking all of the revenue that comes from it rather than just a percentage, like the traditional deal was with the pay-per-view carriers. So it is one of those business models where it's going to take a couple of years for WWE to balance out, but as long as everything goes to plan and they keep the network growing and keep people retained, I think they're going to succeed. So
Yes.
at least I hope so, because I greatly enjoy watching it.
Well, we would definitely keep them updated on how it's doing. Did you see Layla announced her retirement?
I did. That was sad to hear that. Layla had a pretty
She was
good
getting
career
up there, though. I think she was around 40.
Yeah, she's definitely. I mean, she was in her 30s whenever she came to WWE.
She's older than I am.
think.
I know that by a few years, at least.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame we won't get to see my favorite diva anymore, but
what are you gonna do? Everything comes to an end. All good things must come to an end. Cdub.
Yep.
Or Doctor? Are you Dr. Steve today?
I am Dr. Steve Brawl, but you can refer to me as Cdub as well.
Jerry Lynn undergoes major neck surgery. Did you see
I
that?
read about this.
He's
Jerry
actually
Lynn's
trying
got
to
a
get help.
GoFundMe.
Yeah. Wow, that's the second GoFundMe in 2 weeks. We had the old Virgil one because he wants his fuck money. And now we have
Virgil hasn't made shit on that.
now we have
campaign,
Jerry Lynn undergoing neck surgery. Which, if you're gonna contribute, please contribute to Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, you can contribute from me here. A big fuck you to Virgil and a sincere promotion of Jerry Lynn's GoFundMe. I hope Jerry gets well soon and gets all the medical attention that he needs. And takes care of some of these nagging injuries, man. Jerry is one of those good guys for the business.
Virgil needs no fuck money. Come on.
Virgil can... I got some fuck money for him. These two middle fingers, he can fuck off.
Let's not... Why are we calling him Virgil anyway? Isn't it like Shane or Vincent?
Yeah, what was it? Curly Bill, they called him
Curly
at one
Bill
time,
and the
West Texas
redneck.
Rednecks?
Yeah, West...
Terrible.
Did you know they called him Virgil because of Dusty Rhodes, and then they called him
Virgil
Vincent.
Runnels.
Yeah, and then Vincent was a dig at Vince McMahon.
And of course Shane also called
Was a
him
dig
Shane.
at Shane O'Mac, and it was all
There you
Bobby
go.
Heenan, right?
I understand that the first one, the Virgil, was definitely Bobby Heenan suggesting it. I'm not sure about the other two, the Vincent
I
and
think
Shane,
he
but-
suggested Vincent and Shane as well because they're like, we can't call him Vincent no more, so what do we call him? Shane.
Yeah, I do remember whenever he came out as Vincent with the NWO, I remember Mean Gene blatantly calling him Virgil on television, which was pretty funny.
That's Virgil.
Did you see that there's a rumor they may cancel the show Swerved because the talent's complaining? And I would complain too if I got shot in the face with powder. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that one was a little bit too far. I mean, I think some of the other ones are pretty good. I enjoy the show, but I'm not sure that it has really long-term appeal here.
No, not at all. And I would not want to get blasted in the face with that stuff.
No.
If you can see that on Raw too, Xavier Woods blasted him in the face with a bunch of baby powder, right? Like
Yeah,
a
I think
cannon
so.
of it. That looks
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, Kane written off due to a role in that WWE film 642 with Dolph Ziggler. That's the real reason he's off the air.
All right. Well, we can expect a awesome, exciting Kane return, number 378. coming
I
up soon.
expect the Big Bread Machine to return at this pay-per-view.
The Big Bread Machine. Now there's a gimmick.
Did I say the Big Bread?
I think you said the big. It sounded like Big Bread Machine.
Well, the Big
which-
Bread Machine may return at...
The Big Bread Machine. That's got money written all over it.
he
Kid.
may return at SummerSlam.
God damn! You want a job, pal?
Hell, that's a hell of a gimmick name. Big Bread Machine. We want to use that.
Bread Machine.
I like it, buddy.
Ryback tweeted he'll be 100% by SummerSlam. I already told you that.
I hope so, man. Like I said earlier, I saw a picture of his knee, and it was not pretty. A lot of infection still in there. So.
Oh yeah, and I
hope-
forgot to say before I cut you off there, Kane, he's going to come back and get his revenge at SummerSlam. You watch, it's going to be the Big Red Machine.
If not SummerSlam, then maybe Survivor Series.
Okay, so now going on to Ryback's knee.
Yeah, I don't know about Ryback's knee there. I hope that they, take all the precautions they need on that infection and make sure it's all gone out of that knee and he's not rushing it back. I could see Ryback dropping the title here, though.
Yeah, because you don't want to see anything happen to Ryback, do you?
No, not really. I mean, the person, he seems like a decent guy.
And he's your favorite
He's definitely
wrestler.
boring. He's far from my favorite on the show.
Oh, come on. You want him on there.
I don't mind the guy. I really don't
I'm
mind
just
him,
messing
but
with you.
As far as me being a
Huge Ryback,
Ryback
fan.
fan,
Don't you got his shirts and everything?
I have a commemorative Ryback Pog set, actually.
Wow.
Pogs. Yeah, I mean, who knew that Pogs were making a comeback?
That's a Ryback collector right there.
Yes, sir.
Are you serious?
Of course not.
I'm leaving that in.
I mean, if anybody out there wants to make some Ryback Pogs, though, and send them my way, I will be eternally grateful.
How hard would it be to make them? Like, couldn't be. Pogs. I never got into that.
I never really did either. I did for like a week, and then back in the 90s, and I was like, what the fuck?
Did they have a WWF Pog line? I'm sure they did, because I was right around the Attitude Era.
Those were the ones that I had, were some WWF Pogs, yeah.
Those are badass, man. Keep those. You don't have them anymore?
Don't have them anymore, but I know that they definitely made them.
Oh, man. You got them. You sucked at the game and got them all taken.
Probably so. I don't even think I ever played with anybody.
Nobody ever. I did. I remember the Slammers and everything.
I think I was the only person who ever gave a shit about Pogs in my time.
In the world, maybe. No.
Maybe.
WWE reportedly refused China's phone calls. Not shocking.
Not shocking.
Anything on that?
Yeah, she's a fucking mess. She needs help.
Okay, so it's not nothing real big that they won't take her call. I mean, I can just see them.
No, she's trying to lobby for a WWE return and a Hall of Fame thing. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it, but she was getting blasted in the butt on camera by like 4 dudes. I don't think they want that in their Hall of Fame.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Hey, there's actually one of her pornos, I do believe, featured a Triple H parody as well as a Vince McMahon parody and maybe a Stephanie parody.
China.
So I don't think we're going to see Joni, a.k.a. China, back anytime.
Oh, China.
China.
Okay, so we got Taker, Sting, Daniel Bryan, and Orton appearing at Wizard World Con in Chicago.
Oh, I hope
Is it Wizard World Con or the Wizard World Festival, or what do they call that?
I'm not sure. I think it's just Wizard World.
Okay, but in Chicago, man, I'm only 3 hours away. It's on the 8/20 and 8/23, which isn't SummerSlam on the 23rd.
It is, yes.
So they're going to be appearing there the day of. Where's SummerSlam at this year?
It's in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, so I would assume that their appearances are going to be early during the day. Daniel Bryan may not be at SummerSlam; he may be later in the day, but
maybe
they're be there.
Well, maybe it's not appearing that day because it says 8/20 to 8/23 is when Wizard World's on. So maybe they're going to be there like the day before.
Yeah, those guys might be Saturday appearances or maybe even Friday.
But wow, Undertaker.
That's a rare appearance, man. I'm not sure how much it would cost to go meet the Taker, but if it was at all within my realm of possibility, I would be there.
And Sting appearing just almost tells me he's going to be at SummerSlam.
I hope so.
He's pretty much there with them, so.
Yep.
Did you see that? A couple more notes here, and that's all I have. WWE pulled Axelmania, and they switched it to Curtis Axel, but then they reverted it back to Axelmania. Just a weird note that I wanted to know. I don't know what's going on there. They don't want him definitely to portray Hogan, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll let him roll with the Axelmania gimmick still.
Maybe so.
But they won't let him talk about Hogan like running wild and everything and dress like him, I bet.
Yeah, maybe they'll just make it like, all right, Axelmania.
Yeah. Well, the last note is kind of crazy. Did you see that Rob Feinstein of RF Video supposedly had fake Roddy Piper autographs up for sale?
I did see that, man.
Do you have any info on this?
It doesn't surprise me.
Do you find it true or not? Because Feinstein says no. He did not.
Yeah, well, I mean, anybody who was selling bootleg autographs would.
I guess the guy said that, he had a bunch of pictures there, and then, like, after Feinstein bought them, they were up on the internet autographed.
Yeah.
They were not previously autographed.
I think most likely Feinstein bought them and thought, oh, well, this is an easy way to cash in.
Wow.
It would not surprise me from what I saw of confirmed legitimate autographs compared to the autographs that Feinstein had. They did not match up well. So Feinstein's a guy with some interesting history in his past. I'm not really a fan of him or his company. His shoot interviews suck compared to a company like Kayfabe Commentaries.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Even high spots are good.
Yeah, even high spots compared to RF is just much better.
They never ask any good questions on RF. There's some bullshit.
No, what was your memory of blank?
Yeah.
Memories of blank.
And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
How many times have I been hit with the steel chair in my career? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I got really no time for old Feinstein there.
I think old Mean Gene put out a tweet to pass it along.
Yeah, well,
pretty pissed off.
I would be very angry if that is the case. Not that I was ever a big Rob
Especially if it was
Feinstein
my
fan to
friend.
begin with.
Yeah, so that's some crazy stuff, man. But that's going to conclude episode 38 unless you have some more notes that I don't.
I got nothing. The only note that I got for all of our listeners out there is to make sure to check out all of my stuff over at chronochord.com. Chronochord on YouTube, right here on the Brawl for All. We're over in the featured channels sidebar. Definitely check us out. Like, subscribe, share this video if you enjoyed it. And make sure to tune in next week and every week after that, because Brawl for All is definitely cooking. And I think The Rock smells it.
Yeah, we've been having some pretty good episodes here lately. So I thank everybody for listening. As always, tuning in. Give us a like if you like what you hear. Definitely give us a subscribe there too, and leave a comment, man. I still ain't getting many comments at all, so we always say every week to comment, man. It don't take long if you're listening to the episode. But I want to say rest in peace to Roddy Piper, the Hot Rod, the man that just pretty much started the whole crazy hill persona in wrestling, in my opinion. Would you say, Cdub?
I would have to agree with that. Piper is one of the architects of the WrestleMania era of the WWF and beyond. WWE would not be here today, and we would not be talking about an episode of Monday Night Raw in 2015 if it were not for the Hot Rod. Rest in peace, Rod.
Rest in peace, Roddy. You will be missed. And everybody, thanks for listening. This is episode 38. Jeff Jaros here, along with Cdub of Chronochord Media, and peace out as always.